Scary Reddit Stories Part 72. Warning: don't watch this if you intend to fly within the next month or so, just a heads up. I was flying home from Jamaica, and I remember the pilot calling over the loudspeaker. "Alright guys, looks like we have some seriously rough air coming up here, only to be cut off by the jet free falling. Our plane hit an air pocket and free fell for about 3 seconds. It looked like those videos of astronauts training on planes, people and their food and drinks floated out of their seats. I was sitting by myself because we bought tickets late, and a girl next to me, about my age, clutched my arm like it was the only thing to keep her anchored to the plane. The masks deployed, and the pilot informed us that the plane hadn't lost pressure, but we're not out of the woods yet. About 10 seconds later we fell again. This time for about 4 seconds, and the lights went out on the plane. My arm had completely lost circulation because the girl sitting next to me still hadn't let go. I remember looking out the windows and seeing the wings bow upwards, out of sight. I remember looking at one of the flight attendants strapping herself into a chair. She made the sign of the cross and bowed her head to pray, which was pretty scary because it was obviously a big deal. People always say you can tell how serious a situation on a plane is by looking at the flight attendants. This was obviously a serious situation. I remember sitting there, being hit with the sheer helplessness of the situation. Being afraid of dying alone. It was terrible. The girl sitting next to me was looking at me and crying. Looking at me like I had any answers, she asked, "Are we going to be okay?" And all I could do was shrug my shoulders. I don't know why I felt I needed to be brave, maybe so that the last few minutes I had on Earth were meaningful to someone. I remember seeing all the veins in my arm past her hand popping up, suffocating from the lack of blood flow. Her hand was like a tourniquet keeping the fear of death from flowing into my body. A few minutes and drops after that, we seemed to have passed the turbulence, and the girl kept holding my arm. She held my arm for the rest of the flight. Sometimes she'd let up the pressure, but as soon as we felt the slightest bump, it'd be like a tourniquet again. I didn't say anything about it. It was almost like when your little sister gets scared and grabs you. Nothing needed to be said, I guess. We landed and I helped her get her stuff off the plane, because she was still shaking. I carried her stuff to baggage claim, got her bags when she pointed at them, and walked her to the exit. I don't think I ever said more than 10 words to the girl, but nothing needed to be said. It was like some weird connection we had, like a family member or something. I still think about that girl and wonder if that event had as profound effect on her life as it did mine.